Last week, I titled the episode to my podcast, I Know Puck, which is a very appropriate name for an episode for a podcast hosted by yours truly, Ayers Brown. Because I do know Puck. I had a perfect freaking bracket. Now, I wasn't getting the games right and everything, but I had a perfect bracket. And then the first domino fell last night, about 4.5 hours north of my city, right here in the South, as the Nashville Predators, who I trusted, I took a gamble on them to upset the Vancouver Canucks. Instead, I'm the only one left upset. I would have been unbearable. Could you imagine an Atlanta hockey fan, a fan from the city that apparently knows nothing about hockey, going 8 of 8 in the bracket challenge? I would have been unbearable on socials. You know what? That's probably why God was like, let me let him miss one. Let me bring him down to earth. So I get it. You know what, Nashville? I got a lot to say to y'all. I have so much to say to y'all, but I'm going to save it after we roll this freaking intro, which is funny because I actually, I could have left this as a blooper and no one on earth would have known, but I actually had to do this intro twice because I forgot to record it. So this is the second time. Just roll the intro. This is episode 9 of the Live from Blueland podcast, and I did my best not to make this a Nashville Predators diss track. My perfect bracket is donezo. Let's see what we're talking about on this one. The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs has had it all. Quick series, nail biters, and upcoming Game 7s that are peak cinema. Let's check back in on my bracket and let's see who I got in the next round of the big dance. This time of year is all about the big prize, but we still gotta hand out some other awards. From the Calder to the Vezina, I'm making my picks and who I think should take home the awards with some of the finalists just revealed. That's actually it. Short intro. Can I make this a short episode this week? Probably not. I would never say that an episode is irrelevant. I would never do that. It would be foolish to do that. You would be clicking off the video already. Although I'm pretty sure in terms of YouTube watch time, I already have your view. But, retention rate. I try my best to be entertaining. This is a place where we talk about hockey. And yours truly definitely knows Puck. And here we are yet again, because this is episode 9. We got Big 10 next week. We got big episode number 10. That's kind of like a little mini anniversary. I feel like I got to do something special. I don't know. But for right now, we on Cloud 9, episode 9 of what? The Live from Blueland podcast. With your boy, Blueland Ayers. Government name, Ayers Brown. I won't give you my social security number though. I'm not wearing no jersey today. I'm rocking the aesthetic fit today. So no jersey for y'all today. But nonetheless, like I say, I wear jerseys. I wear my jerseys probably I don't even know a percentage for y'all, but when I'm on camera, that's about it. It's summer now. It's hot as hell. So I'm not gonna be wearing them like that. But yeah, so I'm not putting on any jersey today. I'm just rocking the aesthetic fit. But we gonna get into it again. I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't even want to say it. The patented Ayers jinx. Am I recording? If y'all didn't hear me in the intro. Why can I not see if I'm recording? Oh, okay, just making sure. If you didn't see in the intro, I actually had to film the intro twice because I didn't record, but it was actually my audio, but we're all set right now. I appreciate y'all always tuning in. I'm not even going to say where you tuning in because anywhere you can listen to podcasts, watch it on YouTube, is where you can get this podcast. And if it's not there, shout it out in the comments. Hit my DMs, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I read them. I respond. I'm going to make sure that you have access to the Live from Blueland podcast, and I appreciate y'all tuning in, the YouTube getting rolling a little bit. If you found me on TikTok, Instagram, however, I just appreciate y'all tuning in, and we're here to talk some Puck. If you were here last week, you know that I know Puck. I was doing so well in my bracket challenge, and just like that, it's busted. Although I'm sure a lot of other people, as they've told me, have had a very tough time making picks in the playoffs to this point, so I maybe need to stop complaining. I believe in my own bracket challenge league, which there's 17 of us in it, and I appreciate everybody playing along with me. I believe I am in 3rd in my own league. I really wanted to win my own league, but the main goal was just not to come in last. So I cannot come in last in my own thing, and I think I'm disqualified from even the chance to come in last at this point. But I was doing so well. I'd hit on everything. Now, I wasn't getting the games right. I was not getting the games right. But the Rangers beating the Capitals, I had it in 5. I gave the Capitals a game. They didn't get a game. They got swept. But took the Rangers. That's my Stanley Cup final pick. I'm doing great so far. Had the Hurricanes sweeping the Islanders. The Islanders actually got a game in before falling in 5. Still took the Canes. They got it. Took the Panthers in 6 over the Lightning. It was actually in 5 games. Picked right. Picked the Avalanche over the Jets in 7. Shockingly, it only went to 5. Listen, we're going to get into all these series in a little bit too, by the way. But took the Avs. Got it. Picked the Oilers over the Kings. I don't think too many people were worried about that one. That was a 5-game series, wasn't it? It was 5. It was 5. And I took the Oilers in 5. Oh, I did get the games right for that one. Let's go. And then I took the Stars over the Knights in 6. It's going to 7, and the Stars still need to win. And then I had the Bruins over the Leafs, as usual, in 7. And, well, that might just happen tonight at 8 o'clock. But you might be listening to this as you're watching the game, or maybe it's in hindsight and you caught this a little bit late, and I don't know the results to that. It is 5:23 Eastern Time, Atlanta, Georgia, that I'm filming this. But I haven't missed yet. I've got 2 more series. We got 2 more series that are going to game 7s. But we did have one last night that went to 6. And I was wrong. Because I did have this series going to 6. But I picked the wrong freaking team. Listen, I was calling an upset here. If you watched 2 episodes ago where I did my bracket, when I was filling out my bracket for the bracket challenge for the Stanley Cup playoffs, I said that not all the 1 seeds were going to advance to the second round. It pretty much never happens. It might be wrong because the Rangers are a 1 seed. The Canes, the Rangers, the Cats, and come on, look for it. And all the Stars, but the Stars are going to a game 7. Like it's looking like they all have a chance, and they might all go now. I was also saying that not all the top seeds will go, which you saw the Avalanche got the upper hand, and are they the only team that didn't have home ice that is advancing? I'm pretty sure. So, well, we'll see. Again, we got game 7s as I'm saying this though, so this podcast might be outdated very quickly. But let's talk about the first game that made the domino fall to where I cannot have a perfect bracket in terms of going 8 of 8 in the first round. And please don't make me go 5-3. Anyway, y'all, I'm all over the place. But let's talk about this series, which ended last night. The Canucks prevail over the Nashville Predators in 6 games, and they eliminate them. My bracket is now officially busted. I took the Predators. I just felt like Vancouver. I felt like a bit of playoff inexperience on their part. I felt was going to be their downfall in this series in 6 games. Which was no shame. I just felt like their deep run would come next year, the year after. We looking like we're going to get it this year. This is semi-deep. They're going to the semifinals. So, but yeah, and I especially felt more confident in this after, what was it, game 2? I don't think it was game 1, but after Thatcher Demko's injury. But would you believe that the Canucks had to go through 3 different goalies in the series, and the Predators still couldn't capitalize? Thatcher Demko, Casey DeSmith then steps in for him after Thatcher Demko was declared out for the remainder of the series, and then Arturs Salovs. I don't think I've ever heard his name pronounced, because I really wasn't watching these games. These are West Coast games. West Coast, not when they're in Nashville, but I wasn't really catching the games of this series that much. But yeah, then Salovs steps in net too. The Canucks had to go through goalies to prevail in this series, but boy, they stepped up in a big way, and then the boys in front of them did their part to make sure that, hey, listen, it doesn't matter who we have in net. We trust our capabilities, and we didn't go through what we went through this season as one of the best teams in the league to go out this early. So respect the Vancouver Canucks. Listen, a lot of people counted out Vancouver because of that very reason. If you go to NHL Discussions page on Instagram, Canucks fans even saying, we are cooked. We are finished. People around the league saying this is just brutal for Vancouver. Go back to the post where they declared Casey DeSmith out and that Salovs would have to step in net. People were like, you're joking. The Canucks are done. Canucks fans were worried. But the men on the ice that sport the jersey were not. And they prevail in this series in 6 games. The Predators, you got given a blessing really from God here, and you squandered it. Don't know what else to say. And we can point to the power play. 9% on the power play in this series. 2 of 22 on power play chances. You ain't winning no series like that. Absolutely not. And I can't help but, out of all the games in this series, Preds fans, I gotta say it. I can't help but think back to Game 4 of this series, where y'all led by 2 goals with 3 minutes left and still damn lost. Nice going. That is such a game that could have changed the entire trajectory of the series. We could be talking about the Preds having 1-6 and my bracket looking beautiful. Oh my God, Ayers, you know so much about hockey. It's like, it's unreal. You're incredible. I know. That's what I was dreaming about. Then the Preds took that dream away from me. Nice going, Smashville. Yeah, the offense as a whole struggled for the Preds in the series, although I will say this wasn't exactly the highest scoring series for either team. In fact, we had one game where neither team had more than 17 shots on goal in the game, and then I believe the Preds followed it up by only allowing 12 shots on goal in the very next game and still managing to lose. So this wasn't exactly an offensive prowess series, which is crazy because if you know anything about me, I'm a goalie. I love it, but I love games where there's shots on goal, not people skating around. Listen, I'm posting this episode of this podcast on a Saturday and a Saturday evening. Some of you are going to go out to bars and clubs tonight and take more shots than there were shots taken in this series. So, do with that what you will. Yeah, offense struggled as a whole with the Preds in this series. Only one game where they scored more than 3 goals. Brock Besser for the Vancouver Canucks could not be stopped. They did it by committee. The Vancouver Canucks showed some of their prowess on the ice. And, yeah, they prevailed in the series in 6 games. So now my bracket is no longer perfect, and that is disappointing. Speaking of Series 1 this week, let's go around because we're finishing up. We've got 2 more Game 7s. It was really looking like it was last year, right? Or the year before, where we were really spoiled and like almost every series went to 6 and 7. Like, it was crazy. We got spoiled there. Got a little carried away. But nonetheless, we did get 2 Game 7s, thank God. But let's go around to the series that did not reach Game 7s because we are almost done with the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We will start with my Stanley Cup final pick. The pick that I think will break the President's Trophy curse at 11 seasons this year. It'll end the drought. And it's the New York Rangers. They swept the Washington Capitals. I had this going to 5. I just felt like the Rangers would give away one game, probably in that Game 3. It ended up being in Game 4. But no, they didn't give up a game at all. They just showed the difference between the best team in the NHL this entire season and the team that was dead last in points out of all qualifying postseason teams. So, but do with that what you will. The Rangers sweep the Washington Capitals. What was most jarring about this series was the fact that Alexander Ovechkin had no goals in this entire series. It's 4 games, but Alex Ovechkin, no goals, 4 games, swept. People thinking, is this the last time we see Alex Ovechkin in the postseason? Some people were saying that they wouldn't make the playoffs this year. I wouldn't say count out the Capitals yet. On paper, they just didn't seem like a playoff roster, though. They're going to have to find a way to get in next year. I call it the Sabres breaking their playoff drought this year. I'm convinced, considering their last playoff appearance was when the Atlanta Thrashers were in the league, I don't think that they will go to the playoffs again until the Atlanta Thrashers are back in the league. They are making me lose hope. But you're gonna be in there competing with the Sabres, the Red Wings. You got to be imagining they're gonna be pissed off, but they got to stop starting the season all the way through, really Christmas and through the majority of the season, looking like they're going to be a playoff team and then blowing it at the end. Flyers. Can they be better next year and then get in? They only missed the damn postseason at midnight. I'm not even joking. Like, I mean, these I'm naming some teams that only missed it in the last couple days and some teams that only missed it in the last hour of the regular season. So, listen, the Capitals going to have, it's going to be a struggle in there. Can the Senators, on paper, they should have been closer to the playoffs than they were. Instead, they were absolute garbage. Roll them out to the curb. Will that be the case next year? So, we don't know. But is that Ovi's last playoff series of his career? He's got to retire a Capital. Don't go somewhere else. Washington, don't move him. Nonetheless, the Rangers prevail in their series. We're going to keep it out in the Eastern Conference for another series that went final. This also involved a New York team, and this is actually the sweep I called involving a New York team. Instead, the New York Islanders did not get swept. The Carolina Hurricanes beat the New York Islanders. It was a 5-game series. This one, like I said, this one I called a sweep. Seth Jarvis, absolutely unstoppable. This is somebody that I believe I talked about when I was doing my bracket picks and just how big, like a cornerstone of this franchise that he is. Unstoppable with 3 goals and 4 assists in 5 games in the series. I told y'all. I have a thumbnail on this channel where I talk about Kuznetsov in the episode, and I talk about Kuznetsov and his first goal as a Washington Capital, where I'm literally doing the flying eagle, like where I'm literally doing the eagle celly in the thumbnail. It's right here on this channel. Go look. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you listening wherever you're at. But yeah, Kuznetsov, he's been awakened, and I told people this team is full of X factor players that can beat you, like Marty Nietzsche, Brett Burns at times, turns back the clock. Let me talk about Freddie Krueger, but you know him as Freddie Anderson. He will be a tough man to beat going forward. He was tough to beat in this series, and that led to the Canes doing what they did in the game that the Isles won. It was in a game where I think right before. I called out Noah Dobson and Matthew Barzal for not doing enough in this series, and they got loose and defended their turf in that game 4, and they said, no, you're not sweeping us. We're not going out like that. And they gave a good fight in game 5 from what I remember as well, but it just wasn't good enough. And that is the discrepancy of just one team was better all regular season, and the Islanders out of nowhere got into the playoffs in like the last week of the season. It was like, what the hell? How are they here? But nonetheless, yeah, so that series is over. We're going to transition out west before I come back east. The Colorado Avalanche beat the Winnipeg Jets, and can you believe this was a 5 freaking game series? What the hell was that? The first game was 7-6. It was pretty much a basketball game. I hate all that freaking scoring. Y'all know that. Goalie, hate all that freaking scoring. But off of that alone, it looked like, oh my God, this is going to be one of the best first round series of all time. And remember last week when on the podcast I said it had the potential to be at, the Jets never won another game. They never won another game. Backdoor sweep. That's what we call it. They're rare in sports, but it was a backdoor sweep. We're giving you the first one. We're going to 4-0 you the rest of the way. This is just what happened when the best offense in the league went up against the best defense in the league, and offense prevailed here. The Avalanche had more goals scored in the regular season than any other team. The Jets allowed the fewest goals out of all 32 teams in the NHL. But the Avs were filling the nets. And I know what you're saying. Oh, God, Connor Hellebuyck, what an awful series. Let me say something. And a lot of people, listen, I just want to say something. A lot of people not going to agree, but I'm going to say my piece. Connor Hellebuyck. He said something. He had a quote apparently where he said, I actually, believe it or not, played the best hockey of my career. My brother, you didn't. But you didn't play the worst. You didn't. I know it's easy to look at an .870 save percentage. A 5.23 goals against average. I'm sorry. That's NBA halftime scores. That's pretty high. Those numbers would make someone from Winnipeg attending whiteouts vomit. But if you were watching the games and you know puck, I'm sorry. They played like garbage in front of him. They played like garbage in front of him. The Jets were just not good enough in front of Connor Hellebuyck in this series. Mark Scheifele led the team in points with 6, but he was -6. He was -6 in the series. They were not good enough in front of him. Connor Hellebuyck led all goalies in the postseason with 154 saves and leads as of right now. Jake Ottinger has 151. He's in second. He will leapfrog him in the next game. He's not going to win with 2 saves. Oh, God. Can you imagine if Jake Ottinger just like 3 shots on goal, 3 goals, gets pulled? That's got to be a crazy parlay. Somebody's going to be able to retire off of that. That's not going to happen now. But as of right now, Connor Hellebuyck, the most saves in the playoffs, but he allowed the most goals. What does that tell you? If he's got to stop that many damn shots and still has the most goals against, oh no, what's going on in front of him? Would y'all like to roll the red carpet out to the net for Connor Hellebuyck so that the paparazzi can get their pics? It's unacceptable, Winnipeg, and I don't want to hear nothing talking about oh, you're from Atlanta, you're just mad because the Jets left. Buddy, I don't give a damn that the Jets left. Jets leave from Atlanta all the time. Things take flight from Atlanta all the time. Hartsville-Jackson is the busiest airport on the planet, and there's going to be a team flying back in here very soon. Get out your feelings. I talk about hockey here. I don't give a damn about the Winnipeg Jets. I'm not saying this. I didn't pick the Avs of the series because I was salty. I already addressed that. Y'all already know. Y'all know. But yeah, they weren't good enough in the series, and the Avs prevailed. But I did not have it in 5. I told the Avs the whiteout was coming, and the first game proved that. Winnipeg, and this is not on the fans, but the Jets to the men on the ice, y'all did not put up enough of a fight for the whiteout. I told the Avs, I think y'all will win this series. I told Avs fans, though, this is going to be a fight. You're going to have to fight for your lives in this series. McKinnon, McCarr, Rantanen, the whole crew, y'all going to have to fight. Lehkonen, Nichushkin, y'all going to have to fight. It was a 5-game fight. Didn't see that coming. This was the number 1 series I thought would go 7. Most of us too. I cannot believe it was over that fast. I cannot believe it's over that fast. I just cannot get over that. This one, I can believe it was over that fast. I got the games and the team right. The Edmonton Oilers prevailed over the Los Angeles Kings for the 3rd straight playoffs in a row. Like I said on the last 2 episodes, Kings fans, I know you're getting freaking tired of this. I might have said this on the last 3 episodes because we all knew by March that this was going to happen, that it was going to be those 2 teams. How unfortunate. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this series. I'm not going to waste your time. Kings with no power play goal. Not a single power play goal the entire series. To my knowledge, that's my fact check. And Pierre-Luc Dubois, you are cooked. You are cooked. You are sauteed, oven roasted, baked, fried, PLD. You are cooked. For what it's worth, though, that breakup between him and the Jets ended the same way. They both lost in 5 in the playoffs. And they went their separate ways, and they both did not have success. It's kind of like a breakup. Like, were y'all both toxic? How unfortunate. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. I said the Oilers would win in 5. Why? Because I didn't feel like this Kings team was as good as the Kings teams in the last 2 years that lost to those Oilers teams. And those Oilers teams that already beat the Kings teams were not as good as this current Oilers team. That ain't good. Right? This ended in 5, right? This wasn't 6. The Kings won 1 game, and it was the second one in Edmonton. That's right, because they went back to cryptoing. I was about to say something crazy. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about that. Sorry, Kings fans. Run it back next year. And PLD. My brother. Do you plan on being in the league in a couple seasons? Let's go to the final series that is final right now, because we've got 6 series that are done. We've got 2 Game 7s, which I'm about to touch on. But the Cats beat the Bolts in 5. I had this one going to 6, like I said. The Florida Panthers, I had them beating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6. I said, well, this is probably going to be revenge for 2022, where the Cats were absolutely demolished by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is revenge, and this is just what happened when the little sibling, was like, no, you're not going to push me around anymore. It's my time now. I'm done being the little brother. Carter Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk led the way and could not be contained in the series. 9 points each. Could not be contained. Nikita Kucherov, Nikita was dropping dimes in the series. 7 assists. But no goals. But he was facilitating. I told him I wanted to get him in more of a scoring bag in this series, not just facilitating. 7 dimes, but 0 Gs. Victor Hedmonton was vintage Victor here. He was excellent. He also had 7 points. I believe 1 goal and 6 assists. Steven Stammer was great as well. 6 points in the series. He's got people thinking he was the last Bolt to leave and head back to the locker room, taking it all in. Waiting for his teammates, but taking it all in. People thinking, is that it for Stamkos as a Bolt? Has he played his final game with the Tampa Bay Lightning, going in as an unrestricted free agent this offseason? If you ask Blueland Airs, if you're asking your boy, no. I expect him to resign. I'm going to be completely real. I expect him to resign. He ain't going to no damn Florida Panthers, so I don't know why anybody said that. The Anaheim Ducks, why are they rumored to throw him a bag? What's going on there? He not going to the Ducks? I think he's going back to Anaheim. I think he's going back to Tampa. That might have been the universe trying to speak through me right there. No, he's going to the Ducks. Flyers going to throw money at him. I think the Senators. I forgot all the teams that are going to make a play for Stamkos. You damn near think anybody who got money. This is Steven Stamkos, future Hall of Famer we're talking about. Is this it for him in Tampa? I don't think so. But this is it for Tampa this season. There's a new big brother in Florida right now, and it's the Florida Panthers, who went to the Stanley Cup Final last year. They're looking to finish the job this year. They finished this one in 5 games. Had this one going to 6, it was one short of that. So we've got 2 upcoming Game 7s, and they are the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Shocker. And then this one's not a shocker either. It's the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. This one last year. Didn't this one last year go to 7? Or did it go to 6? This one's a 7. This one's a 7. And the Knights prevailed. So revenge series, or hopefully it is for the Stars. Let's start with the Bruins and the Leafs. Boston. This time last week, y'all were up 3-1. And I was clowning the Leafs. But what did I say on the podcast last week? Boston don't choke. If you follow me on Instagram at Blueland Eris, if you don't, I'm pretty funny on there, but I really talk puck. And there's a time to joke and there's a time to get serious, and I do both on there. What did I post the other day when the Bruins let that game go? Don't choke. I told you, Bruins, try not to blow another 3-1 lead like you embarrassingly did last year to the Florida Panthers, who got into the postseason on the last damn day of the regular season. And you were the best regular season team in the history of the NHL, the most wins and the most points. And you blew a 3-1 lead to the dead last team in the postseason. Oh, no. Now, this one's not quite as embarrassing, but the fact that you about to blow back-to-back 3-1 leads is a freaking joke. Oh, no. As for the Leafs, it's almost like y'all can't lose again either. After all, y'all have made a history out of losing to the Boston Bruins in the postseason. I heard that y'all haven't beaten this team in the postseason since 1959. That had to be a lie. That just had to be a joke that I read somewhere. Should have fact-checked that. I can fact-check it right now. Can ChatGPT help me? Y'all want my first guest on this podcast? ChatGPT, help me. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm doing my podcast right now. It's the Live from Blueland podcast with your host, Eris Brown. Nonetheless, I just want you to give me a short answer right now, and it's got to be factually correct. When was the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
The last time the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup playoffs was in 1959.
Damn! Okay, no, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, ChatGPT. I didn't mean to scream in your ear as well as my viewers. Y'all are a joke. Y'all are a joke. The civil rights movement was going on. I don't even want to say anything else that I have to say. My note's done. Y'all both are pathetic. Y'all are both losers. Y'all's fans suck. We all hate you. All of us from Montreal to here in Atlanta. All throughout Canada, Minnesota, Colorado. We all hate Boston and we hate Toronto. We hate not the city. I don't really have nothing against the cities. Well, I don't really love Boston that much. But we hate the Bruins. We hate the Maple Leafs. Y'all are both pathetic. Y'all are both a joke. I'm gonna clown whoever loses. I'm scrapping my notes. I had stuff about how Joseph Wall is the wall of Toronto. He literally is a wall. I had stuff on Montgomery calling out pasta. I'm done. Y'all are both a joke. Bruins, you choke. You a joke. Bars. Leafs, if you continue to not beat them, y'all ain't beat them in 70 years in the playoffs just once. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Let's move on to the Stars and Knights. Y'all are both pathetic. To the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights, thank you for giving us a series. Now, this is a damn good series. This is chaos. What a series. Thank God this ended up being good. Closely contested, and to think it started 2-0. Dallas, with you losing both in your own building. But would you believe they went to Vegas and took 2 in theirs? That's what we like to call a money waster. Well, that's what Blueland Eris calls it. I gotta stop talking about myself in the third person. I only do that here. Probably because Blueland Eris is not my real name. But yeah, I call these money waster series when neither team can get a win at home. But finally they have. Dallas went home, and that was the 3rd straight win for them. And it was like, oh my God. Backdoor sweep, gave them 2 and then 4-0'd them. No, Vegas in the last game with a 2-0 win evens it at 3 apiece. And now we have a game where the winner takes all. Game 7. Oh, you love it. This is peak cinema. I hope it goes to OT. I hope it goes to overtime. Y'all want me to go live for this game? I can't go live tonight. I got to work. And I got to go get something to eat to this. I'm thinking about probably going out tonight too. I don't know. I don't know. I can't go live tonight for the Leafs and Bruins, but I can go live for this. What did I say about the Dallas Stars when I made my picks 2 weeks ago? And I was ashamed last week because they gave me reason to be ashamed. But I said, I trust the stars of the stars more in the series. They finally ended up proving me right. Jason Robertson with 3 goals and 3 assists. Wyatt Johnston, what did I tell you? I shouldn't even call it was wrong to call him an X Factor player in this series because it's not so much. I know X Factor players can be big time players too, but I like to call X Factor players the guys on the team, and I'm gonna talk about this on the Knights because McNabb is this to me. But it's guys on the team that you didn't think were gonna beat you first, but they step up and they look like the stars. And if you showed hockey to somebody, no pun intended, but if you showed hockey to somebody for the first time, they would think that player is the best player on the team, even when he typically is not. That's what X Factor players are to me. Alex Tuck was that in Vegas a while ago. Alex Killorn was that in Tampa. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all not new to this and new to sports in general. Let me talk about Jake Ottinger. The Otter is having fun in his habitat. A .921 save percentage, a 2.10 goals against average, impeccable. But you want to talk about goaltending? Oh, well, Vegas got 2 options. Aiden Hill led them to the Cup last year. Logan Thompson is an all-star caliber goalie as well. Pick your poison. Oh, you love it. I'm a goalie, so I love it. McNabb is McNabb is the most underrated player in this series. He's got 5 points. Jack Eichel is dominating on the ice with 3 goals and 4 assists. Who do y'all think Vegas goes with in net in this next game? You just go with Hill? Your Stanley Cup winning goalie from last year. But they can't go wrong with Thompson either. Hill just won Game 6. You probably got to just keep Aiden in. Game 7 is going down. Basement. I took the Dallas Stars in 6, meaning I had them winning that last game and closing this out. We're going to go the distance. And we're about to play until we have a winner. This still ended up being a long episode, of course. Second round predictions. So I'm only going to do predictions right now for the series that are done. And the reason being is because I just don't want to think about all the different series and like, oh, well, if the Stars win, this is who I've got against the Avs, or if the Knights win, this is who I don't feel like doing that. We've got 2 series that are absolutely solidified right now, and it's the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, and then on the east side, it is the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. For the Canucks and Oilers series, this is the battle of it's not the Pacific Northwest, but because Edmonton is Mountain Time Zone, is the Mountain Time Zone, but this is Northwest Canada. Canucks fans, do not, I'm not even joking, do not start. First of all, I think y'all are probably the nicest fan base out of all of them up north. No, I don't. The Jets are. Maybe the Sens. I know some of the Canadians won't agree with that, but I'm talking about 2 Atlanta hockey fans. The Jets probably are. And they got our damn team, so that's part of why. And then maybe the Canucks and then the Sens. The rest of y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Flames. The Flames fans don't be getting on to Atlanta like that either. Funny enough, the 2 Canada teams that got Atlanta teams, they're not really douchebags to us. But listen, Canucks fans, do not start with me. But I'm not trying to go against y'all in the playoffs. I'll tell you what, y'all win this next series, I'm gonna pick y'all in the Western Conference Final. But I got the Oilers in 6. I'm sorry. Stopping Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman thinks that he's Wayne Gretzky. So you can't get his head to swell down now. Pause? Anyway, and I don't know how long y'all can run with... Thatcher Demko should be coming back. But I don't know how long y'all can run with DeSmith and Solovs. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. We'll see. I got the Oilers in 6, and on the east side, well, the Rangers are my Stanley Cup final pick, so who do you think I'm picking? I've got the New York Rangers, but I got it going to 7 like it did in 2022. Do you remember that? They were throwing haymakers, and the Canes let it slip. They were up 3-2, and then didn't finish the job. I got this one going to 7 again. It's going to be a dog fight. Rangers in 7, Oilers in 6. That's what I got right now. I'm going to make TikToks. I'm going to make some TikTok content and Instagram Reel content for the other series when they go final. Because, again, we still got 2 more Game 7. So that's it for the Stanley Cup talk. Let's get into some awards as we get ready to close this podcast out. The grand prize at this time of year is the Stanley Cup. Is the Stanley Cup, but we got to give out some awards because individual achievements. There's nothing wrong to flex individual achievements. It doesn't make you any less humble. You deserve them, and we got to give out some awards. And we're going to start with first-year players who have planted their flag in their first campaign in the NHL. The Calder Trophy finalists were announced this week, and that's just one category announced this week. We've got Connor Bedard. Who's your bedaddy? From the Chicago Blackhawks. We've got Brock Faber from the Minnesota Wild, and we've got Luke Hughes from the New Jersey Devils. Connor Bedard, 22 goals and 61 points in 68 games this year. It feels like he missed more when he was out with the jaw injury. I just feel like he missed more, but he didn't. All right. Brock Faber with 8 goals. 39 assists. He led rookies in ice time per game, in blocked shots, and was first amongst rookie defensemen in shots on goal with 136 this season, and even strength points with 31. I thought that said 131 for a second. I said, what the heck? Why is he not winning the Hart? Brock Faber, like I say, he's a Cale Makar and Quentin Hughes lab experiment or variant created in a lab. And then Luke Hughes gets in there for the Calder finalists. 9 goals, 38 assists. Played all 82. Hell of a feat. Very hard to do. Led rookie defenseman in power play points this season with 25 and power play goals with 4. Who's my pick for the Calder Trophy? Come on. I was his spokesperson through a lot of the season. Who's your bedaddy? It's Connor Bedard. I'm sorry. These other 2, they got bright careers ahead of them. They're going to be all-stars a number of times. They are franchise cornerstones, I believe. I'm going to give it to who's your bedaddy. I had Connor Bedard going into the season. I either had him getting 80 points or 84. So I either had him getting 2 under a point per game or 2 above a point per game. So yeah. But yeah, he led rookies in goals, and he was tied in the lead with Brock Faber in assists. And off of that, I gotta give it to Connor Bedard. I don't know why people are bringing up his damn plus minus like he didn't have to play with people who work in the gift shop at the Blackhawks arena. What is it, United Center? So relax. I need some water. No ad. I'm not trying to rush through this, but I'm hungry as hell. The Jack Adams Award finalists. Rick Tocchet out of Vancouver. Rick Bowness. We got some Ricks out of Winnipeg for the Winnipeg Jets. And Adam Burnett for the Nashville Predators. I'm not picking a Predator after they broke my bracket. So, no, but I'm okay. So for shout out to all the Jack Adams Award finalists. Out of the 3, I've been talking about this a little bit throughout the year when I've briefly talked about the Canucks. They should have got more shine from me this season, but I picked Rick Tocchet. The reason being why I feel like the Canucks out of these 3 teams made the biggest jump this year. But if he does not win, you have to understand what Bonus did in Winnipeg, the Jets getting back to the postseason, how phenomenal they were in the Central Division, almost won the Central Division title, but nonetheless up an impeccable season with 105 plus points, impeccable season. And then Adam Burnett in Nashville. Keep in mind, this damn team, I was hyping them up before Brock Besser started sniping them up. We all were hyping them up. They went like a month and a half and got a point in all those games. He did an impeccable job. An impeccable job. I'm going with Talk though. I feel like the Nucks made the biggest jump, so I feel like he's my coach of the year. He's got him in the second round of the playoffs right now. This is a regular season award, and I'm going to touch on that briefly, why regular season awards need to be given out at the end of the regular season, not when they can be tainted. Anyway. Speaking of coaches, we got to talk about another coach here. A coaching change. Another one that I'm talking about on the podcast, Dave Hackstall. The Kraken have fired their very first coach in franchise history as Dave Hackstall after the first 3 years of the organization being in existence is let go in Seattle. Yeah. So the Kraken missed the playoffs this year. Missed the playoffs after a 100-point season last year and a run to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, where they were one period away against the Dallas Stars from going to the conference final. We almost had an expansion conference final, which would have been so funny, and I thought that was kind of almost foreshadowing, and it still ended up being, I thought it was funny last year, because it would have been two expansion teams, the two most expansion teams versus two teams in the South, Florida and Carolina, and it still ended up being the Dallas Stars versus the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers and the Hurricanes. And why is that funny? Well, considering that the rumors of Atlanta and Houston have been circling around, I find it very funny that, again, sports aren't rigged. Let it go. I'm sure you saw what I was tying together there. I told my friends that last year because y'all didn't know who I was a year ago. Some of y'all didn't know who I was a week ago. Welcome. So Hackstall's record, 107, 112, and 27 in 3 years. 107 wins, 112 losses, 27 overtime losses. Fans of the Kraken, I've been seeing a little bit about what they had to say about him. Fans not sure if it was on him getting fired because the roster on paper, they kind of overachieved last year, but they did it by committee, respectable, but on paper, not given the best roster ever, but they also are like, we're willing to try it with somebody else because we did almost go to the conference final last year, and this was a pretty big step back this season. This team started the new year with 8 straight wins, and then we never saw any momentum from them again. Okay, so Dave Hackstall, out of Seattle. Where does he go next? We'll see. We're going to jump back into award finalists, and I got 2 more categories for y'all. We got the Norris Trophy finalists. Who are they? Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks. Do I have another award going to the Vancouver Canucks? Not if these 2 men can steal it from him. Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, and Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators. Quinn Hughes. Let's talk about Hughes. Led defenseman with an NHL career high, 92 points, 17 goals, and 75 assists in 82 games for the Vancouver Canucks. Iron Man, all 82 completed. Roman Josi joins him with that. All 82 games played for the Nashville Predators. Can we talk about how impeccable that is in the NHL? Listen, I love some basketball, but the NBA, boy, y'all soft as hell. Y'all soft as hell, and y'all can't play all 82. Roman Josi, first in goals with 23 and third in points with 85 amongst defensemen. He was among players at his position. He was first among players at his position with shots on goal with 268. Roman Josi in his offensive era, I really used to consider Josi a DFD. He is over that. He is a two-way defenseman in every sense of the word, and sometimes I think he's an OFD. He was second in even strength points amongst defensemen with 51, tied for second in game-winning goals with 5, and tied for fourth in power play points with 33. He is looking for his second Norris Trophy, as is Cale Makar. He finished second in points with 90, second in goals with 21, and second in assists with 69, giggity, amongst defensemen, and was the first in points per game with 1.17, playing 77 games for the Colorado Avalanche. Availability is the best ability. These defensemen, they displaying it. He was also first in power play points with 39 at his position. Oh, he's a maestro. And if you've got to kill a penalty, you are dead if all hail Cale is on the ice. Tied for first with 4 shorthanded goals. And third in shots on goal with 231 this season. Looking for his second. Who am I picking in this group? It is closely contested. But I've been saying since Thanksgiving, I'm giving this to Quinn Hughes. We got multiple Hughes nominated for multiple awards, and this is another one going to Vancouver, as I just picked Talk for the Jack Adams. I'm going to pick Quinn Hughes right here for his offensive prowess and what he did for the Vancouver Canucks, who right now are going to the second round of the playoffs, as is Cale Makar's team. But I'm going to give this to Quinn Hughes. It's a slight edge, boy. This was a dogfight for the Norris Trophy. I actually saved my favorite category for last because, buddy, I'm a goalie. And not all categories have been revealed. You know, we still got to do the Hart Trophy, but Vezina Trophy finalists. And there's some other categories as well, but Vezina Trophy finalists. I'm a goalie. This is my favorite. Hart Trophy, but this is my favorite. I'm a goalie. Sorry, ChatGPT. You don't have to listen to me. Right now. See you later. Thanks for being my first guest. So we got 3 finalists here. Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets. Another Winnipeg Jet. We've got Sergei Bobrovsky of the Florida Panthers. And then we've got, I'm trying to do it without looking back. It was somebody I I didn't want to say that I didn't agree with. Oh, Thatcher Demko of the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko, phenomenal season. I don't mind it, but I think somebody should have been subbed out for Thatcher Demko specifically. Jeremy Swayman. Which means the Bruins would have had back-to-back nominees. Last year, Linus Ullmark is the reigning Vezina finalist, and he don't even start for the Bruins really anymore. He's not the number one starter. He's the 1B. Swayman, what a hell of a season. I'm shocked he wasn't nominated, and I know a lot of people were voicing that too in the comments under the finalist post when they revealed. Nonetheless, Connor Hellebuyck went 37, 19, and 4 with a .239 goals against average and a .921 save percentage this season with 5 blanks, 5 shutouts in 60 games for the Winnipeg Jets. He ranked second in wins, second in save percentage, and fourth in goals against average, and made the second most saves with 1,656 behind only Juice, UC Saros, the Nashville Predators. This is the William M. Jennings Trophy winner, if you didn't know. This is a 4-time finalist for this award, and he's already got one under his belt. He won it in the pandemic in 2020. Let's move on to Sergei Bobrovsky. You want to talk about somebody who's got one under his belt? He's got one as well. Bobrovsky, 36, 17, and 4 with a .237 goals against average. .915 save percentage, and tied for the NHL lead with 6 shutouts in 58 games for the Cats down in Sunrise. He was third in goals against average in the league and tied for 7th in save percentage amongst goalies to play at least 25 games and allow 2 goals or fewer in 32 damn stops. You will get robbed by the Bob. He's a 3-time finalist, and Bobrovsky's already won this award. I'm sorry, not once, but twice. In Columbus, back with the Jackets in the 2012-13 season and the 2016-17 season. You remember it. I grew up watching like you did. Well, maybe you were already grown then. I don't know. Or maybe you're too young to remember and you're tuning into the podcast. I don't freaking know. I was growing up at that time, though. And then Thatcher Demko. 35, 14, and 2. A .245 goals against average. Stonewalling. A .918 save percentage, 5 shutouts in 51 games, finished tied for 6th in wins and 5th in goals against average. And he was leading the NHL in wins up until the point that he sustained a knee injury on March 9th, and that caused him to miss 14 games. So he was doing those numbers on limited games. Had more in the tank. Eris, who you got winning the Vezina Trophy this year? I got to go with the Wall of Winnipeg. I got to go with the Wall of Winnipeg on this one, y'all. I feel like Connor Hellebuyck's body of work throughout the totality of the season is going to give him the edge here. All 3 phenomenal seasons. Again, I'm shocked that Sway didn't get it, and that's not me being shady Canucks fans. I'm not making any Canucks fans on this podcast, am I? Damn it. Literally, my GOAT was a Canuck for a long time. Roberto Luongo, literally my favorite player of all time. Ease off and relax. But yeah, that's who I'm picking. I'm going to pick the Wall of Winnipeg, and do not let the playoffs give you hindsight bias. That was a phenomenal season, which is why we need to give out the damn awards at the end of the regular season. Who the hell makes a regular season award and you giving it out in July? Stop doing that. Like, why can't they just do the vote when the regular season ends and then all right. I could say that a lot. I got to say that in the NBA, the NFL, the MLB. Hey, take it from me, because y'all know I watch the other big 5, the other big 4 of the big 5 as well. My favorite teams, I had 2 MVPs this season. That is crazy for me to say out loud, but articulating it. Two of my favorite teams each had an MVP in their respective regular seasons this year. Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens and Ronald Acuna Jr. of my town's Atlanta Braves. And they were both marred to death. Lamar Jackson was called the worst MVP in the history of the NFL. Meanwhile, none of y'all's quarterbacks could beat him for MVP. So what the hell does that say about who's in the pocket for you? All right, anyway. And then Ronald Acuna Jr., who couldn't hit a beach ball against the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't want to say completely discredited, because he had a historic season, so people showed him love. But listen, just give the award out at the end of the regular season so I don't have to be embarrassed, because it takes away so much shine when your team goes out in bad fashion. But episode 9 didn't go out in bad fashion despite the runtime. I'm never going to have a short episode. I give up. Dude, I'm hungry. I'm going to get something to eat. I hope you enjoyed episode 9. Episode 10? Oh, man. I feel like I got to do something special. If you got ideas for something I should do, you might as well say it down there in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts, I appreciate you tuning in. It's the Big Ten next week. We're going to see who takes these Game 7s. We're going to see who's in the second round and what the world of hockey looks like in a week. Maybe there's some news coming out of a particular city as well. I saw y'all deleted the post. I won't get too much into that. I'm just going to save it until next week for episode 10 of the Live from Blueland podcast. I'm freaking starving. I'll see you later.